I say that we do need reparations. They want to get away from that. Oh, you all just want more welfare, this and that. No, it's not that we want welfare. It's that we want what's due to us. Mm-hmm. Just like all the other, people that you robbed and stole from.
Gave them,
you reimbursed them, you paid them, you took care of them. Or, here we go again. Black lives do not matter.
Right.
Because we went through the most. You take a man, you got a man here, he's working for as a slave for you already. You're beating him and doing all kind of stuff to him every day. Then when you feel like it, you go take his wife and you go rape her right in front of him. You're doing things that are just, oh my goodness. Man, you should have died for it. That's the truth. Because it is so crazy that you can do this kind of stuff to people. And then expect 50 years later, oh, what's your problem? Oh, that happened a long time ago. You sound like a jackass. This is a mind we're messing with. Once you destroy a mind, it doesn't get right overnight. Because those same people you destroyed their mind, now they're destroying their kids' mind. Mm-hmm. And that perpetuation goes on and on and on.
And likewise, like you said, and that goes for them too as well, because their minds are destroyed.
Yeah,
So, and they're raising their kids the same way.
But we have to talk of a solution.
Right.
And the solution is that if we were in a better light, unfortunately, this is what it is.
Right.
If we had better jobs and better education, then we would address our lives better. Mm-hmm. Then you wouldn't see us on the news so much robbing and stealing and shooting each other and crimes against each other. You wouldn't see that. So guess what? Because the news polarizes everything. And it teaches us how to think. So now we would not be taught. The police wouldn't be taught. White Americans wouldn't be taught. Us as black Americans wouldn't be taught. Asian or whatever wouldn't be taught that the black man is the worst thing on the totem pole because he's going to do crime, he's going to do this and that, because he wouldn't be on the news like that because he'd be living a different life. He'd have a different education.
The thing about that, sadly, is that it would take a lot, nearly every black person on the planet to do no evil, because they're going to highlight.
That's fine.
They're going to highlight,
But
so,
if we decelerate the television that's programming us, and now social media, if we decelerate our criminal activity,
right, major,
our ignorance and different things because of lack of education and lack of economics, if that was to decelerate, then the visions would change. Because if I keep running a Burger King commercial to you, eventually you're going to want to go get you a Whopper. You understand what I'm saying? But if we dial it back, and it wasn't as relevant or present on the television screen or social media in your mind, I guarantee you things would change. I guarantee you, and another thing, they talk about the guy who did the shooting the other day. But I'll say this. Cops, they don't like to take responsibility for their actions.
Oh yeah, not at all.
And
I think that's because they feel like they're entitled to do the things that they do simply because they have a gun and a badge.
Yeah. Well, let's watch this clip.
On the surface, as an officer yourself, it looks bad, no? I will tell you that it's
Can you say the words, it looks bad?
They don't want
Why
to.
you can't ever say that? This is the
This
problem
is the
I have with
problem.
cops. I have to
This
say
is the
this.
problem.
This is the problem I have with police officers, and no disrespect to you. Y'all don't ever want to point at someone else and say, you can't do your job well. I can tell you right now, if I heard a radio personality get on the air and do something irresponsible, I'd go, that's a bad radio personality.
Yes.
He does a bad job.
Yes.
Police officers never want to say when y'all do a bad job. So and that's the reason the public thinks all of you are bad. Because you won't ever call someone out and say they murdered someone. In cold blood, it happened again. And until you guys start taking responsibility for your own, people in the street are going to be upset instead. So how about y'all lead the movement instead? How about instead of people rioting, police officers get out in front of it themselves, and you guys are the first ones on the front lines? That's what should happen. Instead of you struggling to say, well, I don't know, it could be, they murdered that man. We just saw it.
well, I can't agree with you.
What do you mean? Are you watching
And
it?
that's the problem.
That-
And the fact that you're sitting there, you laugh about it is even worse.
Listen, you.
No, I'm not laughing.
I know you're not laughing at the situation, but my man, you can say on the surface, if we don't gain more information, that looks real bad. I would have done a better job. I wouldn't have done that. I would have found a way. It's the same as Laquan McDonald. You had cops who were sitting there doing their job, trying to calm the situation. But then here comes Renegade Rambo, who just rolls up and kills Laquan McDonald. There were cops there trying to do a good job. So you can say there's some that do a good job, and then there can be hotheads who do a bad job. We could learn more, but this video starts out bad on the surface.
Yeah, that was terrible. Wow, to even hear him say that. My thing was, he wasn't gonna say that was a bad job, or the officer could have handled it better, because hypothetically, of course, if that officer who was just speaking were in that predicament at that time, he would have done the same thing. And if he would have done the same thing, him not saying it was a bad move allows him to be able to do it if he gets in that situation later. He's just leaving that door open so that, hate to say it like this, but he may have a chance. He may have a turn in killing off someone. So that's why he didn't say that. It allowed him to still be open and do, maybe be in that situation, because I don't know if he thinks this is a game, if he thinks it's a game or what, but that's ridiculous. And I'm sure there are some cops, who are, still have a brain, and they're able to say, okay, that was terrible. That was bad. 9 times out of 10, I don't know how they look, but I'm sure, the ones who are saying it.
I would say this. They tell they got this thing in the hood that I think is stupid. That they say no snitching. We kill some innocent person. We do something crazy. Go robbing innocent people and doing different things and crazy stuff. And then it's like, oh, no snitching. Little girl got shot in the head. No snitching. Real jackass material.
Yeah.
But where did you have to think about it now? Where did they learn that from?
Yeah.
Where they learned that from? They learned it from the people who hunt them every day, the police.
Right.
Because when the police do something, that blue code or whatever it is, no matter what, we don't tell. No matter what these officers do, it's always don't say nothing. You don't go against the code. You stay. That's no snitching.
Yeah.
No matter what, you don't snitch. But then when guys from the neighborhood do this same thing, oh, you're so stupid. Don't you want to help your community?
Right.
Don't you want to do this and that?
That's reverse psychology is what they like to call it. Yeah, that's terrible.
And nobody paid attention, but they learned this, and they learned it from the police officers.
Yeah.
Not to snitch, because they watch themselves have so much done to them, and the other officer stands there and just watches it.
Right.
Says nothing.
Not gonna say anything because I don't want you to get in trouble. Because you're supposed to be my what is it, brothers in blue.
Yeah.
Stupid. You supposed to be. We're supposed to be and on the same side. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything that I saw you do. You don't say anything that you saw me do, and we're all good.
And that's where the distrust came in. And that's where guys from the hood like, man, you know what? I ain't saying nothing.
Right.
I don't trust them. And because they don't trust the police officers because of this kind of hazardous behavior from them, they trust them, period. It's like it got so bad till now innocent people can be murdered and things can happen to them. And that mindset is set in. All I know is no snitching.
Right.
And that comes from those same police who hunt black people in their neighborhoods. See, it's all correlated. None of this stuff just happens out the pie sky.
Yeah.
You understand? They think that black folks are acting wild and crazy and doing different things. They just woke up like this. No, you train them.
Yeah.
Take your responsibility. And how do you take your responsibility? By reparations and helping set up better education, better jobs, better situation. Not just giving them the money where they can just go blow it, because no, they're not knowledgeable enough. We are not knowledgeable enough what to do with that money, because we weren't raised like white folks. And that's straight up, you know, and I figure myself to be pretty intelligent, but I didn't come up with their kind of education. They were raised on financial planning and different things. Man, you got some, you know, folks out there who don't know, white folks who don't know whatever, but at the same time, their education, you know, was a lot better. The majority of our education was garbage.
Right.
So we don't know how simple things, balance a checkbook or financial planning or how to put money aside or savings or different things like that. And we didn't get the education from school. That was garbage education. Teacher who just wanted to get his paycheck and leave. So there needs to be, yes, we need a whole lot of paper. You understand what I'm saying? To be put into a fund and directly benefited towards us. You understand what I'm saying? As color Americans, we need that stuff for us so we can go get these resources, so we can go and actually get loans from banks, because even the banks, they rob us. Wells Fargo a couple years ago, they were shown to try and make money off of the big housing crash. What they did was they gave a whole bunch of bad loans because they knew the people were going to default on them, but they was trying to make money on the back end. They was waiting on the default. So they gave us high interest. They said, who are we going to target with this plan so we can make billions of dollars on the back end? Let's target the black folks. So then when they did all kind of loans, no doc loans, all kind of crazy loans, and they targeted the black folks, gave them to them and Hispanics, you know, brown people as well. And, you know, but this was calculated. And then they even got sued upon it, and it came out, and this is how they get out of it. We're not going to admit we did that, but we're going to pay a settlement.
Right.
But we won't admit anything, but we'll pay millions of dollars as a settlement. Well, to me, just like to anybody else, that's admittance.